Hey guys, SoCal Val here. You are listening to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast.
Welcome, everybody, back to the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. This is our SmackDown review show. This is very early in the morning. I'm your host, Andy Burrows, and as you can see or hear, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Adam Cousins. Adam, good morning to you, mate. Happy Sunday morning. How are you?
Morning, mate. Sunday morning calls for one thing. It's a skinny latte, but you can get others. Again, this is a green version of a skinny latte.
Tea for me, mate. Tea for me this early in the morning. But we are here to talk about the season premiere of Friday Night SmackDown, mate. What did you make of it? New GMs, John Cena, the tribal chief in the house. There was a lot going on this past Friday, mate. What did you make of it?
All in all, it was good. There's a couple of bits that were questionable in terms of, well, we'll get to GMs and whatnot in a minute and how they were announced and what have you. But all in all, it was fine. But you mentioned Cena, and he kicks off the show, doesn't he?
He does indeed, sir. He does indeed. Mr. Cena kicked off off the show, starting Friday Night SmackDown. At this point, are we just using Cena for the sake of using him now while the writer strike's not on, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. He's doing it. He comes out, says, "Welcome to Friday Night SmackDown," and then straight away he's interrupted by the tribal chief himself, the man, his back, Roman Reigns. And then they were talking about redoing their match again, but Cena was like, "No, I just want to acknowledge you." It's 1,000.
Yeah, how? I didn't get that bit.
No. And then
what's he acknowledging? What? It's a minute since it's the first time he's been on SmackDown in
couple of weeks,
4 weeks,
6 weeks.
Yeah,
anyway,
6 weeks.
And he said, "I'm not here to challenge you, but somebody else is."
Mm-hmm.
At that point, that's when LA Knight makes his come. Oh, so comes out. He did say quite a funny line. He got on his microphone. He said, "Have you pissed your pants yet?" which I thought was quite funny. But that's set up later on. That's up because Jimmy Uso come out, didn't he, as well? And he attacked Knight. I don't think Roman was expecting it. And then Solo, "I want you," was what he said. In English, it was, "I want you tonight," to LA Knight, that's the main event that we got set up for.
Yeah, no, it did. Is this basically now? Are we kind of? A lot of people have mentioned that we're LA Knight's now involved. Saudi Arabia around the corner. Are we? We're not going to get LA Knight versus Roman Reigns, are we? At Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
But the title they're going to put. Is it too early for LA Knight? Because he's not going to get. He's not winning. Let's put it that way.
Not winning.
Could they not save that for a later? Or are they just testing the waters maybe with LA Knight?
Probably
knowing how over he is, knowing how they always have to have this star match in Saudi Arabia. Is this it?
That will be it. That will be the test. Because obviously after that, you've got Survivor Series. Don't know if Roman's going to defend it there. So it's kind of...
That'll be War Games.
Yeah, but if he's not in it, unless he's going against Seth.
Maybe.
Or they're doing some traditional matches and they'll be like together and against, maybe they'll do like a bloodline against Seth, Cody, Jay, like a traditional Survivor Series instead of a, War Games. For that particular War Games, probably be Judgment Day, but I don't know. Maybe. Or it could be Judgment Day versus the Bloodline.
Is there enough of the Bloodline?
Yeah, there's probably too many of the Bloodline.
What, to go traditional?
No, what's War Games?
War Games. Sorry, I thought we were still talking about traditional. I was thinking there ain't enough of the Bloodline anymore.
Four.
Solo, Reigns,
Roman, Jimmy, and then maybe they'll get Ava from NXT. I mean, it's a big shot for her to come straight in because obviously you got Ripley, haven't you? Part of the judgment. You got Ripley, Balor, Priest, and Dom. Obviously, JD's not technically in it yet, is he? So
no, true. Yeah, so that was the start of a Friday Night SmackDown. I liked the little bit with when was the bit with Cody and Roman coming face to face, wasn't it, as well? That was at the end. That was quite cool. I thought SmackDown was absolutely loaded this week, but I just felt they couldn't put the pieces in the right place. There was a few
that was a funny thing that LA Knight said about Solo. Turn your ass upside down and use it as a mop.
They're pushing him again. I'll give him that. They're pushing him. But where did we go after the opening, mate?
Oh, Yes Boy is where he went.
Oh, Jesus, yeah.
The return of Pretty Deadly.
I was watching this live as well, and it was like, God, 1:20 in the morning. I was like, I forgot about Pretty Deadly, to be honest. I know they went up against the Brawling Brutes, didn't they? And it was an all right match. I don't know. I can't quite get a Pretty Deadly or not. No, they're not doing it for me, mate. I'm not going to lie. It's an all right match. I was a bit surprised at the outcome, to be fair.
Pretty Deadly winning.
Pretty Deadly getting the win. They cheated to get it, albeit. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure about this tag team, mate. What do you reckon?
I like them, but they're British.
Yeah, I don't know. Something's not connecting with me.
They're funny.
We haven't seen them for weeks, for one.
Well, one of them was injured, wasn't he? I think it was Elwin.
Yeah.
Elwin was injured.
Elwin was injured.
Elwin Prince, or wherever his
Elwin
name
got
is.
injured playing his piano.
Yeah, trying to do the collision entrance. No, that wasn't a shot. And I'm not like you, Andy. I don't take shots at AEW.
I don't take shots at AEW.
No.
No.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, he was injured when they were doing those videos hyping their return. And trying to get him back. He was in a wheelchair with a shoulder injury, which I found hilarious.
And then pretty much ran to the ring.
Yeah, he pretty much ran to the ring. But after that, Carlito was having an interview, wasn't he?
Yeah, Carlito got the bejesus beaten out of him backstage eventually. Can we call him the New Hurt Business now? Are we allowed to? Can we say that?
Yeah, well, they haven't got a name yet.
They haven't got a name yet, but yeah, obviously, they got their ass. He got his ass, his hand. So we're kind of guessing that's where his storyline's going now with Bobby. I'm guessing Bobby Lashley and Carlito. But they've announced something obviously for the LWO next week against who are they fighting?
It's Montez Ford and Santos next Friday.
That's it, next week. So they're going to go with the LWO, and we'll call them the Hurt Business kind of storyline. But yeah, it's good to see Carlito back. I said to you last week, I wasn't sure what they're going to do with him. I don't know how long he'll be around. You know that. I reckon it could be another fizzled out, and come Mania, it'll be in the over the top battle, Andre the Giant pre-show battle royal kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was quite it was a good bit. It's good to get him up in the storyline. I don't know, I just think the Hurt Business. Well, we're calling them the Hurt Business. They haven't got an official name, but I don't know. I wanted to see them kick on. I don't know. It just seems to have stalled since they introduced the Montez Ford and etc. into the fold. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I don't know. I suppose because this is the difficult thing with Roman as champion, isn't it? Like I know the Bloodline have kind of inserted themselves up there, although they weren't. I mean, apart from Dominic, and we'll get to him in a minute. They weren't really on this week, SmackDown anyway. It was purely a lot of SmackDown guys, which makes a change. I don't know. Yeah, it's a difficult one because they can only really go up against Roman. That's it. And the LWO because they're the only ones in groups.
Yeah, there isn't really anyone else on SmackDown, I suppose.
No, so we have to sort of take that really. And I suppose it will generally happen, but it just... I suppose it's just set out. And then is there the argument of, well, there's too many groups? I know there's only 3 technically, but we already seen how group heavy shows can get with Raw and with Judgment Day and with the Bloodline of SmackDown. So I don't know. I think maybe it's a slow one with them.
It is. It is. Talking of slow ones, we then went into the women's match next, wasn't it?
It started backstage, didn't it, during that beatdown bit, and Bayley got in her face, Selena's face, or Selena got in Bayley's face, and it just started thinking. But before that, you had that little bit about the Bloodline. Basically, Roman saying you got to get rid of Jay and Cody.
Oh yeah, back to sitting on the sofa. Yeah, sitting on the
sofa. Sitting on the white sofa.
He loves it. He loves sitting on the sofa when he comes to SmackDown, don't he, old Roman?
He's a tribal chief, right?
Yeah, he can do what he wants. But yeah, then we had Selena going up against Bayley. It evolved eventually with Bayley picking up the win, and Charlotte Flair trotting down to the ring in the biggest pair of heels that I've ever seen, looking like some horse doing a matinee. I was like, surely if you're going to do a run-in, you don't want to be in some high heels. It looked horrendous. She looked like a drunk zebra coming down the ramp. Whatever she was wearing. But obviously Charlotte comes out to do the save at the end. That eventually leads to, when we're talking about Charlotte, that eventually leads to Charlotte being backstage with Adam Pearce.
She gets a title shot.
Yeah, she gets they've announced that she's getting her title shot next week on SmackDown. And then she turns around. Our favorite person is she's not in an Uber this week. Jade Cargill was standing there. Are they teasing Charlotte and Jade early doors, do you think, mate? Or is it just a case of getting Jade Cargill on, albeit briefly, on WWE TV again?
Yeah, I think Monday she'll be doing the same with Becky.
Mm-hmm.
No, not Becky. Who's the women's champion? Rhea. Sorry.
Rhea Ripley on Monday,
Rhea
mate.
Ripley, sorry. No, but yeah, Rhea Ripley, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So she'll probably end up, they're probably doing a face-off between all of them, even Becky at NXT. And then eventually she will choose to show. That's what I'm thinking. It was a good tease, I think, for maybe what's to come. But I don't.
Everyone was tweeting out they're not doing this already, are they? Like everyone was
Yeah,
moaning on social media.
I think with Jay, you need to get her in matches before you start throwing her against people like Charlotte and
Becky,
Rhea and Becky and people like that. Probably they'll probably start her off with 4 matches against Natalia. That's how it normally works, isn't it? In the women's division.
Right. Talis is, she should stick to doing OnlyFans at this point. Just and her sister. I mean, see, that's ridiculous. That is, by the way.
Well, some of the tweets,
mate, her sister's on Twitter. Natty retweets it all the time. I'm thinking, this is literally there's riding your sister's coattails, and then they're starting a fucking OnlyFans. I mean, come on. I mean, it seems to be the thing now. What's her name that just got released?
Dana Brooke.
Dana Brooke. She seems to be. I've been released from WWE. Let's get my tits out. Yeah, seems to be the way we're going.
Rose it worked for.
she's made millions, but yeah, it just seems to be the way. Anyway, I digress. Where did we go next on SmackDown?
We went to the bit I didn't like.
Here we go.
Was this whole GM stuff? No, let me rephrase it. I like the GM bit. I like the fact there's GMs running shows. I haven't got a problem with that. The Triple H comes out and basically says to Adam Pearce, done a great job. We was just expecting Triple H to start the show. Here's Roman Reigns and piss off. That's what they've done for the last few season premieres. But he come out and said Adam Pearce done a great job managing both shows. You're getting a promotion. The promotion basically is that you can't really run both shows on your own. You need some assistance. So you're going to be general manager of Raw.
Which he already was.
Which he technically was. And Adam Pearce was like, oh my God, thank you, sir. You know,
I know, he was well excited. I'm like, really? I'm pretty sure you've been doing it the last God knows how many months.
You've been running the show. You've made every match official for the last 2 years or however long he's been doing it. And then he says, but now we're going to introduce the SmackDown general manager.
This was so bad.
And he said, oh, there's Nick Aldis. And like,
jumps out the crowd.
He was literally, I think he was actually standing outside, obviously away from the camera. I mean, to announce somebody like that with someone that's got so much esteem we've had him on here, and he was really, he was such a great
guy, really good guy,
amazing guy, and I'm really happy that he's doing. He did mention that his next role will be something that he's never done before.
He kind of gave us a few clues, didn't he, when he was on chatting with us? He said he couldn't go into it, but he said his next role is something that you won't expect from him.
Yeah,
I know we were chatting off air when we'd done it. Me and you were like, oh, maybe WWE, and
there he was. But I mean, and I think the reason why, and then there was crickets, because I suspect that he had already come out in the commercial break when it's and the crowd have given him the reaction that he deserved, but he deserved that on live TV.
It's like no one knew who he was, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but he got in the ring and Triple H was like, well, here's Nick Aldis, and everyone was just like, slow hand clap.
I heard a load of Nick chants during the promo.
Yeah, and he's it was the case of the WWE audience just not, I don't mean this horribly, obviously he's done NWA, he's done Impact. A lot of the WWE audience might have been like, not all like us. I don't watch all wrestling and like who he is and where he's been and what he's done. And that's not against anyone watching wrestling, but it just seemed to me the crowd were like, who's this dude?
I just think it was the way it was done.
It was awful the way it was done. Terrible. We should have brought him out properly. Music, everything, done it properly, had him come down the ramp. I was like, this is really bad. I thought that whole segment, apart from obviously then Dominic Mysterio was in the ring. The part with Nick Aldis was, I'm a big fan of your dad.
Yeah, that was a great line from Nick. Yeah, I just think the way that they'd done it was wrong. I think that if he'd come out, music and all of that stuff, it would have worked better. But they did then announce the trade. And I knew who it was. I texted you on Friday night and I said, I know who it is. And you were like, don't tell me.
Don't tell me, I'm about to watch his live.
Yeah, it would have wasted. I don't do what we sometimes happens in our groups and things get spoiled before.
I've had to mute our WhatsApp groups.
Yeah, I've had to mute our group as well.
Day after pay-per-views, I'm like, no,
I've turned off notifications now. And it was Kevin Owens. See, this is where I think it plays. I don't know if it plays into something here, and I'm going to maybe say something that may be a bit controversial. I think that may have something to do with either a Cody or a Jey Uso heel turn later. The Cody's getting rid of the friends of Sam. I don't know. I don't know. I could be making way too much into this. My mind could be going into overdrive. I've been talking to our boys at Carnage, and I've been like throwing ideas around about stuff that I would do in areas, and it was like I don't know.
Oh god, Adam's gone full Booker on us.
No,
Adam Meltzer over there.
Adam Meltzer. I don't ever want that name. I'll stick to the name.
You might be right. It's going to be because we all assumed it was going to be Cody maybe going to SmackDown, and that's how Cody gets to Roman. We've been speaking about it for weeks now, and I was speaking to Max. I don't know if you've seen the interview I've done with Max's wrestling channel yet from TikTok, and he reckons, and what I said to you on our NXT review, when we were digressing as we always do, he's like me. He reckons Jey Uso should get the title shot at Mania against Roman. He's not sure if it's going to be Cody now, and he also had a great theory about Gunther. I don't know if you heard how he should relinquish.
No, I missed the Gunther bit. What did he say?
Come out, lay the belt in the ring. Say, I'm done. That's it. No one can. I'm done. I've beat everyone, and that sends him off to face for the world title. Relinquish the Intercontinental. So he never gets beat for it. Max's idea was he walks out on Raw, puts the belt in the middle of the ring, could cut a promo or not, or just walk off. And hey, look, no one's around. I've done everything. I've beat everyone. There's no one around to take this title off me. And then they have a tournament for the Intercontinental title.
That's what I like about having these influencers and people on. There's so many great ideas. And
Max told me, and I was like, that's a great idea, Max.
I hadn't even thought of that. That's a real. I mean, I'm saying.
Then he's under. Yeah, well, you're a booker now, mate. Come on. Then Gunther's never loses his title, and that undefeated. He's the longest reigning Intercontinental champion who never got beat. Great idea, I thought.
It is a great idea. Speaking of creative and bookers and all that, there's the bit that come out before SmackDown actually come out on Thursday, so it's a good time to talk about it now. We're into that sort of mode. It come out that I think Vince McMahon has shot himself in the foot a little bit with this thing with TKO. So it's come out now that Ari Emanuel wants people to stick to their jobs and has been a big fan of what Triple H has done, and has now, we don't take it with a grain of salt, moved Vince away. He has the absolute final decision on things, but creatively, it's all Hunter.
I think it's a good move. I mean, you've got.
And he also blamed Vince for the stock dropping.
Jesus Christ! There had to come a time where everything that's gone on with Vince and whatever. Look, we've said it 1,000 times. If it wasn't for this guy, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing now. We wouldn't have this great industry that we all love. Let's not be.
And another guy that might be coming on soon.
Well, Vince McMahon.
No, not Vince McMahon. Somebody else.
Yes, someone else that we can't talk about yet.
That we keep dropping hints about.
Keep dropping hints. Yeah. He's. I can't wait for that. It's been time. But the only thing that worries me is what you said there. He has the final say. So if, say, for argument's sake, Hunter books night 2 of Mania, how he wants to book him, Vince is like, no, not having that. Can he change? There's no point giving Triple H full creative control if no matter what, Vince can go, nah.
I think Vince will have I think it will be like something like a Roman Reigns thing. He'll probably have the final say of if there was
who finally beats him.
Yeah, but in terms of everything else, I think what I'm hoping that TKO and Ari Emanuel have seen is that the product's a fuckload better when Hunter's booking. I mean, there's still issues, but it's a hell of a lot better than what it is when it's booked by Vince, especially over the last few years. Not every, as you say, without Vince McMahon. And
we're not here.
We're not here doing this on a Sunday morning. We're probably going to church or something like that. But
I don't know if I'm allowed in there, mate.
Yeah, maybe.
I went to church yesterday. I watched Dunstable play.
Yeah, you lost.
Played well yesterday.
It's one of those, isn't it?
Played very well yesterday.
We can talk about that. We talked about. We didn't have a game yesterday, so
I saw no game.
We got friendly Tuesday. Anyway, swiftly moving on because we don't want to talk football on this show or soccer if you're in the States. You need to take it. So I think it's probably a good move to have him doing it. They've probably seen that it's working better, and just I think I seriously don't think it's going to be too long that Vince is there. I think he's in a lot of stock already.
Yeah, I think he's. What's going on with Stephanie? I know she's advertised literally nothing. She's done a full Shane McMahon.
Yeah, as soon as Vince come back, she
left. Fair play. Shane's Shane obviously because the ideal thing was father to son, a bit like how
I think it's going to go father to son-in-law.
Really, Shane's not involved at all from what we're.
I don't know what he's. I mean, he won't go to.
I know he got injured last time we saw him, but
I hope he's doing. Actually, I hope he's well. And saw his son, didn't we? I hope he's recovering well. I think now it's TKO's though, isn't it? Because TKO are 51% of the shares, so it won't go down to anybody. It will just be. His shares might get his percentage in the company might get divided.
So we now really are. We are now in the era of McMahon's and WWE not really
in full charge.
Yeah, not in full in the first time ever since we've been born and watched wrestling. That a McMahon isn't in full-time charge of the product that we're seeing on the TV.
He's not got the minority share either.
No, it's going to be interesting as well. See what they do with that. Obviously, the merger and stuff. The whole UFC. We've heard as it gets closer to Mania. I'm telling you now. Conor McGregor's involved in WrestleMania. 100% going to happen. 100%.
Well, he's not back in the.
He's fighting in the UFC in a couple of weeks.
Didn't they? The people behind all the drug testing have pulled out of the UFC. I know we're talking UFC here, but it's a group now. I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, there's a testing department that they send all their tests off to, drug tests and whatever. And they said that they announced that Conor McGregor was back in the pool and that they are ceasing their partnership with UFC.
Okay, interesting.
Anyway, that's our TKO discussion for the
that's it. That's the TKO discussion for the SmackDown review show.
The Cody and Jay, I'm sick and tired of these open challenges. They're
you hate them, don't you?
Wrestling. I hate it. An open chat, like I used to when Cena done it for the US title, it was actually pretty good, and I think it gave the US title a bit of prestige. But these open chat, I mean, sometimes now they get answered before the show even starts, and then there's this big graphic, and I said, well, how is it an open challenge then?
Yeah, I knew they advertised Grayson Waller and
what do they call A-Town Down Under?
Something like that. But yeah, it was advertised before SmackDown.
Yeah, exactly. And this was an open challenge. Like, I suppose they done a tweet about. I think they did do it.
It was on Twitter. Yeah, it was on Twitter about an hour before the show.
Come on, like seriously, these have got to stop now because they're getting stupid. Because Cena done the US Open Invitational, I think it was, or some stupid thing like that.
Kurt Angle done it back in the day when he was champ, and it's been I always think them kind of things are good if you're trying to bring someone back, or say if there's an open challenge for the women's title and Jay Cargill come out. Now that's
that's a different. It's normally if you're bringing somebody, not that they're going to win it, and that's the other downside to it. And if you do bring somebody new out and they lose, stock momentum just drop. I mean, the difference for that, I suppose, and he wasn't new at the time, but it was when Sami Zayn answered Cena's challenge with Brett. That was good, even though Sami didn't win it.
Because Kevin Owens answered John Cena's one, didn't he? That's how Kevin Owens was coming. Yeah, he done it on Raw, didn't he, and beat him.
Yeah, it's just one of those. I'd prefer eliminator matches, like if they win they get a shot, because generally 95% of the time these open challenges, the team that challenges never wins,
especially because, like, say for argument's sake, that the whoever the champions are advertised for the pay-per-view coming up.
They don't make a thing about it. This is what was talking to Fiona about, and this is what we talked to Dave about on the Impact ones. At least they tell you if something changes.
Impact do that really well.
Impact and NWA do it great. And by the way, just as a side note, there was an NWA wrestler on Collision this week in a squash. But
okay, I haven't watched Collision yet. I'm looking at the pictures on the internet this morning. I don't think anyone did. But yeah, I'll get to that at some stage today.
I'm about halfway through.
Yeah, if you see that, I think all the paint's dried at my house. I haven't got that to watch anymore, so I might watch Collision.
Oh my god. You still want to go on about it? Jesus. Anyway, let's get to this tag match before we really spirals out of control on a Sunday morning. Right, so it was Cody and Jay versus A-Town Down Under. We knew what was going on with this before we even started.
We did indeed.
That was when he had the standoff. Because I think they were coming down for the main event at this point. Yes, it was. So basically, Cody and Jay won. They've got a really interesting finish. That's a dangerous finish. Do you see it?
If you screw that up, mate. Yeah,
Cody did on Raw. He landed on his neck.
Yeah, you're breaking your neck.
I think it's their version of the 1D, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Uso's done, and it's
Cody cutter.
Uso holds him up, and Cody does the Cody cutter. But that is a really bad landing for Cody.
Yeah, you've
got to be really careful, because if he is, could you imagine if he is finishing the story and he gets injured?
That would make booking easy, though. They're still not sure. Roman gets simple. If Cody gets injured, Roman's keeping it for another year.
Yeah, that's what people say. That's if Roman's even doing it, even if Cody's finishing the story.
Do you imagine the uproar just before we get into this match? Do you imagine the uproar from a lot of people? Hey, don't get me wrong, I love it. Roman's my guy.
Yes.
If he keeps it for another year,
I'm not against it.
Goes the longest ever.
I mean, he's got.
What's he got to do? What's he got to do? Another 2 years to be the longest ever? 3 years. 4 years to be the longest.
San Martino, I think, was champion for about 5 years or something.
Could you imagine?
I don't think it will. I don't think. I'd never say. I mean, look, never say never. I would say, but because you can't ever say never, especially in this bloody crazy world that we talk about every day. I can't see it. I can see him surpassing Hogan's.
Yeah,
which I think will take him to this time next year, near enough.
He's back there. He's signed a deal. We might be seeing him on TV.
Mate, he finishes.
Hogan beats Reigns for the title.
You heard it here first. Hogan's
gonna have one more run.
There'll be like one day before he beats Hogan's reign, and then Hogan
will come out. His music will hit. Come out in the red and yellow. Go, he might need Matey Boy's wheelchair to come down down the ramp. Yeah, he might need it. Yeah. But yeah, it's gonna be. What I did like though was that you could see. It kind of got me like, oh yeah, I could do it. When you saw Cody and Roman face to face again on SmackDown. Yeah, I was like, oh, hang on a minute, mate. And there's something switched in Cody. You could tell. Don't get me wrong, I know it's wrestling and it's they write this shit, believe it or not. But you could tell with Cody, there was something in his eyes that he was like, oh, I was like, fucking, I want to see that again. Because you think usually after Mania, you get rematches and we haven't seen them two in the ring. Since
it was when Brock turned, wasn't it?
Yeah. We saw them briefly and the night after, and then Brock, that was it though. But as it having a match, usually something happens at the pay-per-view after a backlash or something like that.
Nothing.
We haven't seen these two go one-on-one or anything tag team wise since last year's WrestleMania.
This year,
this year.
We're still quite in the same year.
We're October. This year's WrestleMania just gone, and I was like, when I saw them two facing off, I was thinking, all right, I wouldn't mind seeing that match again, one-on-one. I just think if they're going to do it this time round, do it somehow so no one, because the big argument with them is, someone always interferes. Put it in Hell in a Cell at Mania.
Or a classic cage. Bring back the blue one.
Bring back the blue.
Have him do it the Dusty way.
Oh,
I don't know. Maybe having. Oh yes, we Paul Bearer.
Mate,
that was a good picture actually. Sidetracking just before we get to LA Knight, there was a picture on socials this week of the NXT show, and it had Undertaker and LA Knight together, and LA Knight on the Indies was managed by Paul Bearer.
Good.
And you see Shawn Michaels just glancing over with his lazy eye.
He's always glancing over somewhere, mate.
Glancing over his shoulder.
Watches a tennis match without moving his head.
Yeah, he's there. But yeah, it's an interesting one with Cody. I don't know. I'm not sure now. I don't know. Maybe that's the whole.
Come on, you're getting involved in all this booking now, mate. I need to lean on you for this kind of thing, mate.
I wish I was.
Yeah, we talk about this. It changes every episode. I'm with like when I was speaking to Max on Friday night. Max's wrestling channel on TikTok. By the way, go check it out. Incredible channel.
It's got a load of figures, right? Jesus,
mate. Honestly, he hasn't been collecting that long either. When if you watch it on our YouTube show, he's only been collecting for not long at all. We've got another guy coming on soon as well. He's the biggest belt collector. I'll send you the link. He's enormous on TikTok, absolutely enormous on TikTok. He's coming on, biggest WWE belt collection ever. It is incredible. But yeah, me and Max were saying again, like we said earlier, I don't know if Cody is going to finish the story. I mean, if it isn't Cody, if it isn't Jay, what are they going to do? I still think, mate, they could just keep it on Roman. You know that. I just think now maybe Triple H is back. I think if it was Vince still, I'm not sure how he would have done it. He could have probably had bloody Bobby Lashley, all the big dudes, and Bobby Lashley probably would have won it, and it would have been ridiculous. I just hope when they do end it, they do it the right way, because it's been so long now. You can't just have a squash, or you can't have a interference. It has to be one-on-one.
Spear, jackhammer, bang, done.
Thank you. He has to be pinned to the mat 1, 2, 3. But I don't know, mate. By Survivor Series, you'll have a clearer view. Get Saudi Arabia out of the way. What is that in a couple of weeks?
Yeah,
at the end of 28th.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
It's the 4th of November, isn't it?
4th of November. So get Saudi Arabia out of the way. And like Triple H said, he even mentioned it, you're on the road we're thinking about Survivor Series now. Once Survivor Series ends, and the next pay-per-view after that's the Rumble, I think.
Yes.
We might have one before that. Might have a little something.
One.
Yeah, I think pretty much after Survivor, it might be like traditional, because it needs to be Survivor Series, then the Rumble. But the Rumble's at the end of January, so I don't know if we've got anything before then, like a little.
That'd be one of the longest times between WWE.
Yeah, it will be a bit like when, say, Elimination Chamber finishes, and you got 6 weeks till Mania. Remember being you like last year? We've got 6 weeks build now to Mania. After Survivor Series, I think me and you will sit and go, right, I can kind of get it now. And then once the Rumble's here, the Rock's gonna be back. I'm gonna guess he could be involved in Survivor Series or back before the Rumble. it depends how they're going to integrate The Rock into the whole story, because it looks like they're not going to have teased The Rock's daughter chatting to Paul Heyman for nothing.
But that'd be how The Rock gets brought back.
So that's how The Rock, I reckon The Rock's daughter, they try and convince her to come into the bloodline. They're all in the ring with her. Rock's music hits, out he comes, and that's then we're off to the races. But then what do you do with Roman and the title? And
I still think Roman wrestles both nights. It's the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania. I still think he wrestles both. It doesn't have to have the championship on the line against The Rock, because you say The Rock could just be the. They could even do a number one.
If The Rock wins, someone gets a shot. So Rock's wrestling on behalf of Cody or something like that. If The Rock beats Roman Reigns and something, they could get it into the storyline.
Cody takes on the winner of that match on whoever. I mean, we're just saying Cody.
Could be Rock and Cody. It could be by race WrestleMania night 1. It could be Rock and Cody versus Roman and Solo Sikoa. If Rock and Cody win, Cody gets a title shot at night 2.
Yeah, they could do something like that. It's possible. See, you're booking now.
See, I'm loving this. If only there was a wrestling company that could use us to book. Ah, dear. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm interested, mate. It's going to be interesting. But then we got to the main event of SmackDown. We had a certain LA Knight going up against Solo Sikoa. LA Knight is finally getting the push that me and you have been talking about. He's been over, but now they're finally realizing, right, maybe because you could be right here, Ads. Triple H is now running it. He's like, right, let's get him. Let's go.
Yeah, it could be. They can't. This is the problem with, as you say, the stock rises, and the more that you kind of put it off, the stock drops. I mean, they got lucky, I think, because he started to dive off the tad, and then he won that Battle Royal thing at SummerSlam, and then it just went sort of dipped slightly and then gone straight back up. And ever since then, it's kind of, there's been a couple of bits where he's lost matches that we thought he should, like the US title tournament thing. And
I forgot about the US title, by the way. Ray's just in like 3 ways.
Funnily enough, that actually something happened last night. Mr. Logan Paul won his fight.
Oh, did you see the KSI match, by the way?
No.
Got to be the worst. I saw the highlights this morning. Worst boxing match ever, by the way.
Okay.
And I'm talking ever in the history of boxing.
Right.
And I'm quote unquote boxing.
Awful. Logan Paul won his fight
and
called out Rey Mysterio for the US Championship.
What, at the boxing event?
Yes. So I think in Saudi Arabia, because he's on the promotional poster.
You know they're going to put the title on Logan Paul as well, right?
Absolutely.
And then LA Knight takes it off him.
Could be. Here's the thing. I don't care that Logan Paul wins the US title. The big issue I had was him dethroning Roman at the last Crown Jewel, which didn't happen. That would, because there was a big thing because of the social media. Nick Khan loves all that shit. You know, with people.
That's why we're getting KSI versus Tommy Fury and all that crap, and fucking Tyson Fury going up against a UFC fighter next week.
They'll be playing golf next. They'll be doing the Open and
honestly,
cricket.
mate, it's an absolute that side of it. And again, like I said to you when we were talking about the NXT, even on Talk Sport the other day, they were saying that side of the industry is going very WWE. It's like boxing entertainment now.
Yeah.
And exactly. It is, because all these, like you say, the Khans of this world are getting involved, and they're seeing these YouTubers and TikTokers, and don't get me wrong, they're good at what they do. But when they come into these fields, last night was just a sham. Next week will be a sham. You've got Tyson Fury going up against the UFC guy. And that's going to come into WWE soon because of the link now with the UFC in 6-7 months. And I'm saying Mania, there's going to be such, I said Conor McGregor, etc. But there's going to be more of this, mate. And there's going to be times when me and you are going to be looking at each other thinking, what have they just announced? And don't get me wrong, if they put it on Paul, the title, he's probably been the best person to come across that can actually wrestle. So he wouldn't be the worst person. I can kind of get why they're doing it with the US title. I wouldn't want to see him do the IC title or the World Heavyweight. The whole thing last year in Saudi Arabia was just purely for ratings, and that's why they got him in. But as for dethroning Ray, if it means that they're segueing to get LA Knight maybe a title shot at Rumble, and then LA Knight takes the title at Rumble, because I think the Survivor Series probably be too soon. Yeah. I think that LA Knight could go over at the Rumble and win the US. Maybe. Who's to say that LA Knight don't win the Royal Rumble?
That's supposed. I mean, he could then choose the Raw champion because you get a champion's choice, right? Which is a big thing. Because I can't. My view is the winner of the Royal Rumble is taking on whoever the Raw champion is. I'm not saying it's going to be Seth. I don't know who that is because he's got a big challenge in Saudi Arabia as it stands, and that even may boil over into Survivor Series. If the heel turn happens, it doesn't have to. It could happen after a loss, and then it could go on to Survivor Series where Drew could then win I'm not saying he's not going to win in a couple of weeks. I have no idea. We'll wait and find out. But I think the Royal Rumble winner will take on the winner of the Raw champ, whoever the Raw Championship is held by, and then the Roman one I think will be at Chamber or possibly at night one of WrestleMania. They could do something where that happens. I don't know. We'll wait and see. But in this match, there was interference. Jimmy tried to interfere. He got the AA, and LA Knight hits the blunt force trauma and picks up a. Yeah, there's normally that is the big win, isn't it? If you beat Solo, that your next
anyone in the bloodline. Yeah, that's kind of WWE saying we trust you.
Now you can go on to take on Roman, which I think is going to be the match. I don't know if Roman's on next week. I don't think he's not been.
Cena getting involved in Saudi Arabia then if it ain't him, and because we all assumed that it was going to be Cena versus Roman, not special referee, special enforcer.
Yeah, there was because there was talk of him taking on Solo at the Rumble. Do they move that forward? Does he take on Jimmy Uso? Because he hasn't fought him one-on-one. I think Cena's done a lot of talking since he's been back. He hasn't done a lot of wrestling.
I think his matches are going to be limited now.
Yeah. So does he take on a Jimmy Uso? WWE are a lot higher on Jey Uso than they are Jimmy. That's you can tell, and you're not surprised when the reaction that Jey.
Oh.
All of that stuff. They love that because if you remember when Daniel Bryan done the one on the cage when the Wyatts and the whole crams up.
I think he's mate. That's told you he's my ringtone now. I don't answer the phone to people. I'm like, just ring me out while I'm sitting in the lorry like that.
Yeah, your work colleagues like what?
Oh yeah, they hate me. They call wrestling Biff Boff.
Big Boff.
Big Biff Boff. Yeah, you going home to talk Biff Boff tonight, Boris? Yes, I am.
Yes,
but yeah, what did you make of the ending then? Roman Reigns coming out, getting the spears, the living bejesus out of LA Knight, stands over him with the title. And then, like you say, we're pretty much now setting up Saudi Arabia, Roman Reigns versus LA Knight.
Yeah, I think that's a good ending. Roman had to do something anyway because he is the tribal chief, so he's got to sort the bloodline out.
Is he back? Is he back now? You usually ahead of these things more than me. Is he advertised for SmackDown next week? Is that it? We're not seeing him till like a week before Saudi Arabia.
No, I haven't seen it yet. I mean, he wasn't announced on the SmackDown show, but what happens when you normally watch Raw over here in the UK? I don't know what it is in America. They a bloke that comes in during the adverts and goes this Friday, and then it tells you what's happening. So we'll probably have more of an indication.
One thing that I noticed that it was, and they weaved it into the storyline. Not weaved out. You'll notice why I've said that. Paul Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice when he said, "I've got my glow back"? You know the whole grey thing.
Yeah,
that was a storyline. It was him losing his sparkle and his glow, and his hair's back to normal now. So they obviously dyed it again. Really? And they put a tweet out saying, and it was a picture of Roman walking to the ring, and Paul Heyman. Go on Paul Heyman's Twitter.
I love Paul.
He said, "I've got my glow back," and the grey had gone. So when you look, you're thinking, I wouldn't have even get. What a genius!
You know what? One of the things I say about Heyman, I love because obviously the last few weeks he's been, as you say, he's gone grey. He's had that really sort. The look that he gives Roman is it's like a baby when you hold him in his hands and he gives you it's probably the wind smile, I call it. Dave's probably getting that from Ace in a minute, but
a lot.
But it's that kind of
it's how Dave looks at Tony Khan.
Oh God, we're still doing this. My word, no, maybe not Dave. I know somebody else.
There's
a few. I'm not talking about Parker either. There's somebody else that would literally look to.
But no, what a great! I didn't realize, and then Heyman tweeted. I was like, "What a genius, man! He'd lost his glow. That's what, hence the grey hair." And we all just thought he had dyed his hair.
Yeah, and so dyed your hair in a while. I think he maybe even had a shave. I don't know.
Yeah, it was brilliant, mate. That man is an absolute genius. But yeah, SmackDown went off the air with Roman standing over LA Knight, setting up potentially what's going
probably
forward.
How Crown Jewell is going to go off the air in a couple of weeks, giving you an indication.
Could do.
The loss to LA Knight, if he beats LA Knight, it won't hurt him at Crown.
No, I still think that could end in a squash. I reckon. I think it interference. I don't think there'll be a pin either way. I think that could end with a melee or something. And I think the end of Crown Jewel will set up what me and you are going to see at Survivor Series. I think there'll be multiple people in. I think it could be either Judgment Day, it could be the Bloodline, or it could be Cena, LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, them four in the ring, and then the Bloodline on the other side, and that sets up Survivor Series at the end of Crown Jewel. Just my opinion. Anyway, we always grade these shows. What did you give? What are you giving SmackDown this week, mate?
there was a slight couple of bits. So I'm going to go around 7.5. There were some great bits. The great bits were great, but the bits that weren't so great. That you can get, that, and that's why it's going a bit lower than the Raws and the Dynamites and the NXTs. Collision's still to come, so I don't know. I've seen an hour of a Collision so far. You're giving me that look. But
nothing.
7.5 is my grade for SmackDown.
I'm going 7.
Okay, so you got lower.
Yeah, I just didn't. The whole GM thing for me, I just didn't know. Yeah. I love Nick Aldis. I just thought it really let him down the way they brought him out, and could have done that a way much better than they did. So for me, it was just, I really enjoyed it. To be fair, I did enjoy it, but yeah, that just really let it down for me. If you're bringing someone in and he's brand new to the company, you know what I mean? He's been an NWA champion. He's been involved. He's been an Impact champion in the last year and a half. You don't debut him like that, in my opinion. No, they really dropped the ball there with Nick. But yeah, no, it was a solid show, and it's obviously set up, moving forward now, LA Knight and Roman Reigns. But yeah, that's the SmackDown review, mate.
Before we go, we're going to be busy bees over the next few weeks. First off, congratulations to us. One of our guys that we sponsor, Corey McRae, won the title last night over in
Germany. Yeah, big up Corey. Go on, son.
Unlimited Wrestling. He defends it tonight. So his first defense is tonight. So good luck with that. But we are going to be traveling around a little bit, Mr. Burrows. Today, you're hopefully going to get to Saki Pro Wrestling for their charity show.
All being well.
All proceeds of that go to charities. That's a fantastic show. So if you haven't got to get down there, get down to Sacrifice Pro Wrestling. Next Sunday, I am going to we're making our buckle debut at Progress Wrestling next Sunday. I'm going to the Electric Ballroom in Camden to watch their Halloween show.
Nice.
The following Saturday, we're both at shows. I'm going to RCWA, where I hear a certain CJ Carter is going to be.
Yeah, go on, boy.
Chats that I've been having on the next today. So he's going to be there. That's headlined by a coffin match, or a casket match, as we know it, between Warren Banks and Kelly Six. Warren Banks has the hair like Swerve Strickland, so we've got to be careful that hair's not sticking out.
Don't do what they did on AW, poor guy.
Where are you next Saturday?
I am off to Apex Wrestling in Milton Keynes. It's their over 18 show, so at MK11. So anyone local to Milton Keynes that wants to watch Apex, really, really good company, literally 10 minutes up the road from me. They've got that over 18 show at MK11 week Saturday. If anyone wants to come, tickets are still available.
And I'm going to say I'm in Raynham in Essex for that one. So if you want to go down, just check RCWA on Facebook or Instagram. You'll find out all about it. The tickets are very limited for that. The following Sunday on Bonfire Night, I'm spending that at Rev Pro. I'm going to see the chaps and lassies at Rev Pro Wrestling. A certain tag team are going to be there that we know. There's the Knights are going to be there, I believe. Lacey and True will be there I think they're going to revenge their loss. They lost to the Zodiac, the Zodiacs, the Knights. They're probably going to be defending on that show. They're probably going to be wrestling on that show in the tag team league thing that they're doing. So good luck.
Well, if my football team is still really bad by then, the Washington Commanders, I might be joining you at that.
So in other words, you'll be joining me.
Yeah, potentially could be at Rev Pro with you, mate.
And then the following Sunday, of course, we are all, me, you, Rachel, Dave's dad. I don't know about Ace. But
what nickname are we giving Dave's dad?
Dave's dad.
Dave's dad. Is that
you ever seen the Royal Family?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
We're going to give that's it. Daddy Dave's what we call
Daddy Dave. That's got it. Yeah.
He's actually Dave. Kevin, but we call him Dave.
We can call him Grandfather Dave now.
Could call him Grampy Dave.
You probably won't like that.
No, he's already been a grandfather.
Well, true. Yeah, true.
We're going to be then on the 12th at Ignite.
Looking forward to that one.
Where our boy, our champion. Yes. I'm not saying that because we like him. It's because he is the turnbuckle champion.
The turnbuckle champion.
Smashing Michael T's first. I mean, Jesus, we kind of threw him a bit of a curveball with that first defense, going to be against one of the best technical wrestlers, and one of the best wrestlers in England and Japan. Chris Ridgway will be coming to try and take that title off of Smashing Mike. So we kind of set the bar very high. And I know who the winner of that takes on, but I'm not allowed to say anything on the show. So we have to keep that very stickly to us. But we've got a very busy 4 weeks coming up.
Yeah, we've got a busy 4 weeks. Like you say, if you want to get tickets for any of the shows, Apex, Ignite, any of the Rev Pro, anything.
Ignites are 75% gone.
Yeah, Ignite's literally go on Ignite's Ignite Wrestling's. We'll tweet a link out and stuff. Just go on HTT Buckle. We'll tweet it out. But there's not many tickets left. If you can get down to Bournemouth, come down, see CJ and all the guys and girls. Probably the best local promotion that you're going to go and watch around our area is Ignite Wrestling. They've got some great talent coming down. Come and check them out. I'm like you say, myself, Adam,
their talent are so good that the majority of them now are training at either Progress or Rev Pro, and or even on the Rev Pro card.
Look at Mark. People like Mark True. Mark, he's a good dude. He's killing it at the minute. We've
had our issues with True, but we've called a truce.
Called a truce with True.
Truce with True. That is now, we are now very complimentary of each other for the time being. I know that he still wants the title, but he knows he's got to start picking up victories to do that, which I'm sure he will do. He's a talented bloke. He's at Rev Pro now. Taylor James is training with some of the Rev Pro guys. So, Corey's going to be somewhere. So he'll be, another big one. We've got a load of breakout stars there as well that are just chomping at the bit to get an opportunity. So
the UK scene, and it's good we do on this podcast, and I'm sure there's a few others around the UK, but the UK scene, if you ever get a chance, to people listening, go and find your local promotion, your local show. Go and check it out. We were at Jurassic Pro Wrestling last weekend. Having people there in the building really helps these companies out. And you get to see a great show. So if you are local to any wrestling promotion, just jump on Google and type in wrestling promotions near me, wrestling shows near me, all that. Loads will come up. Well, Adam's got loads down in Essex, I've got Apex, we've got Ignite, we've got so many. We've got Saki Pro up the road from me. Just go and Google. These companies really do rely on people like us turning up. And we just do our little part on this podcast by just talking about local UK independent wrestling. And the scene is incredible. Absolutely incredible. But that has been today's SmackDown review show. Myself and Adam will be back together when we talk Monday Night Raw. I'm at football next Tuesday. I don't know how we're going to do that. We'll figure it out. Sorry, mate. Dunstable at home next Tuesday. Anyone wants to come down to that Creasy Park next Tuesday? Come watch the mighty Dunstable. But till then, everybody, this has been the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. I've been your host, Andy Burrows, with my good friend and tag team partner, Mr. Adam Cousins. Till next time, buckle down. Stay safe.